You know him, you love him, you're gonna want more of him. Here he is now, it's Chattin' with Colin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chattin' with Colin. It's September 9th, 2025. It's Tuesday. I'm going to start by telling you the dates because I know some people watch it the same day. Some people watch it a week later or a year later. We haven't been on a year, but hoping, fingers crossed, we get picked up for another season.
Oh, yes.
What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Well, September 11th is coming up on Thursday, and Brantford is doing their ceremony on the green at 8:30. I will be there. I hope to see many people there. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit today with our guests, but more to come on that. And then on September 20th, Sunshines on Brantford is happening all over Brantford, sort of around the center. You could go to sunshinesonbrantford.org for more information there. And then last night was the first Lions Club meeting of the Brantford Lions Club for this year. And they surprised me at the end. I knew something was up because Alex Paluzzi, former director of Parks and Recreation and my former boss, he, over the course of a week or two, kept asking me, are you coming to the meeting? Will you be at the meeting? In person, over the phone, through text messages. I knew something was up. And then they inducted me as a board member, sort of, because I resurrected the Leo Club. The Leo Club is the high school version of the Lions Club. I was in it in high school the first time they started it when I was a junior, and I was the president my senior year. And I really, once I moved back to Brantford, I really wanted to join the Lions Club because my grandmother, Nana Banana, the last 15 years of her life, she suffered horribly with macular degeneration, and she was nearly blind. So I knew that I wanted to, when I moved back to Brantford, get more involved with the Lions. I did not expect them to name me the Lion of the Year. Crazy, absolutely crazy. I don't know if I'm going to keep this at home or in my office, but I love it. Thank you so much. I love everything the Lions Club does for the town. Check out the Facebook and website and get involved if you want. Ask me questions. I'll report back. Okay, enough about me. I want to get to our guest. Actually, speaking of September 11th, I was a junior in high school when it happened, that horrific day. We were in an assembly that was all about unity and community. And then I went to my junior humanities honors class with Miss Ahern, and Mr. Grandel and Miss Ahern announced to our class that America was under attack. And it was crazy. But I remember it like it was yesterday. I was born in New York. New York is very close to me. I obviously lived in New York after college. I went to college in New York and lived there for a while. It was a horrific day, and I had my uncle worked there, and we couldn't get in touch with him forever. He ended up taking a ferry over to Jersey, and hours and hours and hours later, walking into his house where my Aunt Elaine was like, thank God you're here. Thank God. It was horrific. And he was also at the 1995 bombing. Ugh. So he saw that first plane crash, and he went to catch the ferry back to Jersey. Thank God. Thank God. Okay. Well, Cathyann Roding was a teacher at Brantford High School for 32 years. My mentor, a friend, an amazing teacher. She really, the reason why I went to Brantford High School was because of her and Tony Cardizano and the musical theater program. I went to St. Mary's, and there was absolutely no musical theater, even though I begged them for it. And yeah, so I want to welcome Cathyann Roding to Chattin' with Colin. Hi, Cath. How are you?
Hi there. It's so much fun to be here with you.
Yeah.
This is so very cool. Thank you
great.
for having me.
You're welcome. Well, I'm a New Yorker. You're a New Yorker.
Absolutely.
Where did you grow up in New York?
I grew up in Elmont, so that's on Long Island, right next to Queens, right near Belmont Racetrack.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Yeah, I lived in Astoria, Queens for a little bit. That's actually my favorite borough in New York City. Do you remember September 11th? Do you remember?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you remember about it?
I remember when it happened, I was in a class with my Main Street Singers, and that was a group of girls, and somebody came down to tell us what was happening, and obviously we all stood there in shock. And the thing Oh, I know. Wait a minute. I found out because Jess Strasberg,
Right.
an alumni, was at Wagner College.
Where I went.
Correct. She called me to tell me, you'll never believe what I'm looking at, because Wagner, you could see the World Trade.
Yeah. Well, so the dorm she was in
Yes.
was on the high. It's called Harbor View. It was on the highest part of Staten Island, which was built on a dump, but you could see all of
Yes.
Manhattan, and obviously the World Trade Center. Those two buildings, those iconic buildings,
Oh, my
were
goodness.
she was on one of the top floors. She has a crystal clear, perfect view of it. Keep
Oh,
going.
absolutely. And she was telling me, and I'm like incredulous. Then somebody else came in to tell us. And I remember me and the girls, we were stunned. And I said to them, what do you want to do? Should we just talk? And they said, no, we need to sing. We need to put music vibes in the world. And,
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
That's what we did, and then we spent the whole year. I mean, Life Uncommon, that Jewel song,
yes.
and the Garth
yes.
Brooks song, We Shall Be
Yes,
Free. I remember that.
absolutely.
Like, wow.
What a moment.
Yeah, but you were there. You were there for all your kids. Music obviously heals. I remember going to your office and frantically trying to call my uncle's cell phone, but wasn't getting through. But thank you for being there for me and for all your students, because we really needed someone.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about happier things. So for 32 years, you taught at Brantford High School.
I did.
But before that, you went to Post University. I want to know, how did you even fall in love with music and decide you wanted to go into education? Like, did you grow up playing piano or what?
Sure. Well, I always loved music, but for some reason my parents weren't having it. And I begged for a piano. I used to go to my friends' houses when I was little, and I used to play their piano lessons. And they were always mad at me because I could play them, and they didn't want to. Finally, an aunt gave us a piano. My parents put it in the basement, and this was 9th grade in high school. And I bring that up because it's never too late to start.
Yeah, because when you think about it, those people that are great at piano and even their field, they start at like 5 years old.
Exactly. So I always used to say to my students, you're way ahead of me. So anyway, I practiced and practiced. I loved it. I adored it. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. That was just like part of me. I thought I was going to be a math teacher. I loved math. I had great teachers.
You don't need math in life. You really don't need math. That's what I tell all my kids, which is a total lie. But I didn't need math, and that's why I peaked at 13. Keep going.
So funny. No, so I that's what I thought I was going to do. And then my senior year, I had an internship, and I worked with the elementary music teacher in town. And she lit my world. She was unbelievable. And from that moment on, I knew that's what I was going to do.
So you went to Post University. What did you major in?
It was CW Post.
Oh, CW Post.
Yes. Oh, I majored.
Because the Post University is in Connecticut. I'm thinking of Scott Towers. That's why. Okay,
That's
CW
why,
Post.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Long Island University. And I majored in music education, emphasis, choral, and piano major. So I thought I was always going to teach elementary music. So little did I know I would back into things. I did graduate early. It was a time when you couldn't get a teaching job, and I got offered a job. I wasn't even finished. I was in my the fall of my fourth year, and the school said, go, take it. So I taught out on Long Island in a town called Hauppauge for half a year. And that really taught me the ropes. I was in 3 schools. I traveled with a piano in the hallway, and my guitar was crazy.
Wow.
But it really set me up for everything would be easy after that.
And then you went to South Carolina, right?
Yes,
yes.
I was with a person that got a fellowship to Clemson University, and I was young, and so went down there, got a job teaching in the sticks.
What was that like?
Oh my God. It was, well, the first day was very interesting. 5th grade teacher looked at me and said, we don't take to no Italian Yankees here.
Ooh.
And I had a heart attack, but the kids loved me coming from New York, and I actually loved it. We had a great time. I learned how to pick a banjo, had a country western group. It was, I mean, they were awesome. Learned how to clog down there, too.
Wow.
They had a clogging
On the
team.
next episode. So, okay, how long were you teaching in South Carolina?
I was down there 5 years.
5 years, wow.
But then a couple things. Missed my parents.
Yeah.
And also the mindset of lots of people down there did not sync with my New York liberal thinking. And I honestly couldn't take it. Ku Klux Klan was alive and kicking.
Holy moly.
So it was back in the day, and it was enough for me. So I was so happy to come back up and be with my parents. And just quickly, how I ended up with Branford.
Yeah, that was my next question. You
yes.
must be a mind reader.
Oh, well, we've been with each other enough. I literally got a Connecticut phone book and just started going down the district.
Oh, thank God we're
looking
B.
for a job.
Thank God we're
Branford was
B.
early. Isn't that crazy?
And wasn't it? It
yeah.
wasn't even full time.
No, it was part-time. Part-time.
Oh, my
And I actually had been offered a full-time job up in Meriden, but something about Branford spoke to me, and best decision I ever made. Next year I was full-time, and the rest is history,
As
I
they
guess.
say.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And what were your first years at Branford like? I mean, you were there 32 years. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I know when
Yeah.
I was there, I entered in 1999. It was like Cathyann Roding. I'm sure you didn't start like that.
No, gosh, I'll never forget the first day of school. The choir's there. I've got my southern accent, I guess. I didn't even realize I had it. And I thought, oh, this will be cool. I brought my guitar, and I was going to teach the choir, Can't You See, Marshall Tucker. And they looked at me with eyes so big, like, who is this person? I mean, it was bizarre. And then in my usual fashion, I told them that, well, we're going to write a song together and we're going to record it. And I further sealed that they thought I was out of my mind. But we did, and we did. But that's how I manifest.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then how did you get roped into the musical?
Oh, my goodness. One of the seniors, Laura Cheek, came up to me and said they hadn't had a musical in a couple of years, and they were going to do one whether I wanted to get involved or not. And I knew...
Sounds like me, actually.
Yeah, it does.
Laura and myself would get along.
Yes, and also Greg Noble. That's
Oh,
his
yeah,
style,
yeah.
too. But so I knew I had to help. I'd never done a musical before. I had played piano for them, but anyway, that's how I got roped into that. We had 17 people in that first cast. My choir, by the way, was like 32 kids, maybe 3 guys. I mean, it was completely different. By the next year, it all blossomed to like 130 kids in choir, and then
Wow.
we did South Pacific and
What was your first musical?
Pippin.
I knew that.
Right, did.
Corner of the Sky.
Our
Oh,
favorite song.
it
Yes,
is,
yes.
It is. It's such, I love that song. What made you pick Pippin, or did the kids pick it?
It was the first musical I saw in New York City.
I love
saw
that.
it with Ben Vereen as
Wi-
the lead
and we
player.
met Ben
Yes,
Vereen.
we certainly did when we were at Mohegan Sun.
Ben Vereen, Anthony Rapp, Jennifer Holliday.
Yes.
I'm missing
and
people,
the
but
cast of The Lion
the
King.
cast of The Lion
Oh,
King.
and the cast of Miss Saigon.
And the cast of Miss Saigon. Oh my gosh. And I was like, that was at Mohegan Sun. We did this Broadway cabaret type thing. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's how you go back to those first experiences. And so Pippin, I love the music. Stephen Schwartz,
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, he's incredible. I can't wait to see his new Queen of
Me
Versailles.
too. Me too.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for Greg Noble. It's going to be
Yes.
so good.
Yes, yes.
So I need to tell you, I'm sure I've told you before, in 1994, I saw my first musical at Brantford High School, actually my first musical in general, and it was Bye Bye Birdie. And I've loved musical theater. I've loved that show ever since. Every year I say, let's do Bye Bye Birdie to Mike and Paula. And they're like, no. It's a little dated now. We might need to change things around. But but I still want to do it at some point. But I need to thank you. It was the old auditorium. Those rickety wooden seats that were very uncomfortable.
Certainly were.
Now, and it was before the auditorium was named the Cathyann Roding Auditorium. But I remember it. We were sitting in one of the last rows. I was with Leslie Stewart. She brought me and Dan Stewart, who's my best friend since I was 2 years old. And I have to thank you and her and Tony, because if I never saw that, I don't know what my life would be, you know? Because that really, as soon as I saw that, I knew. And then Then my aunt and uncle and family took me to Radio City, and then I got a little more, but that wasn't really musical. Then my grandmother and my family took me to Cats in 1995. That was my first Broadway show, and then it was just like every year for Christmas, for my birthday, I just had to go, and I never missed a Brantford High School musical after that.
Going downhill then.
Yeah,
getting bigger and bigger.
And it was a real point of contention that I even went to Brantford High School, because I am the first person in my family to not go to a Catholic high school. I know. I went to St. Mary's for 10 years, class president in 1999. Thank you.
Of course.
And then my mom and dad wanted me to go to Notre Dame, where my brother went, but I knew they didn't have a great program for choral or theater, and I knew I had to be there. Now, cut to, you have a baby. Yes. And I have a panic attack because the rumor around Brantford in 1999, around there, 98 maybe, was that you were going to not return to Brantford High School. I had a meltdown and had Mrs. Mott, the St. Mary's School secretary, love you, miss you, she called Brantford High School and spoke to Cathyann to make sure she was not going anywhere. And then later on that day, she said she's not going anywhere. So my parents were a little pissed that she was still there because they wanted me to go to Notre Dame, but no.
You know, I actually had a parent, I won't divulge who, and it wasn't yours, call me in the summer when I was pregnant, you know, and yelled at me for having a baby because
how dare you?
They were counting on their child being in my program.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I bet I could guess that parent.
Probably could.
Oh, wow. Okay, so 32 years you're in Brantford. You do a musical every year. You then start going on trips across the country, European trips. You met and performed for Pope John Paul. I guess you're going straight to heaven. Julie Andrews, another dream of mine, that before I even worked with her as closely as I did, I was a sophomore, I think, and there was this Read to Grow benefit at Woodwinds, and I remember it, and she came in. It was right after her surgery.
I know.
So she wasn't really singing, and she's still not really singing. And I remember you saying, because you were right next to her, that she was very bassy.
Yes.
I think we were singing Jingle Bells or something.
Yes.
It was around the holidays, and and I told her that story when I worked with her last summer, and of course she didn't remember it.
Yeah, of course.
She probably pretended to. Do you have a story over I know you've traveled everywhere. You've worked with so many kids. It must be almost impossible to pick one story, but I do want you to get the opportunity to share with the audience one thing that people might not know, or that one thing that you're most proud of, that over the 32 years in Brantford that they might want to know.
Okay, so my career, I was so blessed with incredible students that trusted me, that would go along with me for anything. Those trips were amazing. I think, though, the year that something was incredibly special was when we did this major work called the Prayer Cycle. And it was very interesting. I was always looking for the next thing. And my daughter, Ashley, was best friends with Alicia Grundell, whose father taught at the high school. And we were dropping the girls off for orientation. And he said to me, "Hey, I've been meaning to give you a CD. Do you have a minute? Can I go get it?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he hands me this CD of the Prayer Cycle. And I never heard of it. Started listening to it, and immediately it touched my soul. immediately. And I knew I had to do it. So this is the kind of thing that I do. We get to school and I tell the kids, we are going to perform this with an orchestra. Little did I know, or they know, you couldn't get a hold of the music. The music was nowhere. So it was composed by this genius in California, Jonathan Elias, and it had never been performed live. They did a recording, and there are all kinds of people on that recording, but they all recorded separate and they put it together. And then there was a singing group in London that did the background vocals. Well, anyway, I was determined. So it turns out Greg Noble was the one that hunted it down for me in California. But once they had done that music, they just put it all in a warehouse that had a big flood. And we were like, oh my gosh, we can't even get the music. But they found bits and pieces of it. And my husband, Drake Smith, who was wonderful, and I met him through my program, played in the pit, and then he arranged. He got permission from Jonathan to fill in the rest of the orchestra. And anyway, we were the first people to perform that piece. And it has movements called mercy, compassion, like all incredible things like that. It touched the kids' souls so much. We performed in like 17 different languages. Jonathan Elias came from California with his family and was thrilled.
Was that at Woolsey Hall?
It was at Woolsey Hall, and he came and talked to the kids, and it was just an incredible experience. So it was like a full circle. I didn't know what I was going to do. CD got put in my hand, and there we went. So
that's great. Do you know
it was magical.
Yeah. Do you know if any other people have performed it since?
They haven't. I had a bunch of people contact me wanting to do it, but when they found out that all the solos were not written anywhere, your soloists had to figure out what to do, and that it was so complicated, nobody's ever done it.
Wow.
So people wanted to do it, but you know me.
Yeah.
As my daughter always says, go big or go home, Mom.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. So in 2017, you retired from Brantford High School. You had a big surprise celebration, which included students from all over the years, parents, colleagues, consisted of a look back of your career. We did a song or a story or something from every show, musical. I helped plan it, and which is why I focused on the musicals and not the big works, because I mean, if it would have been a 10-hour celebration if we really did it up. And funds from that concert went to starting. I was a board member at the Brantford Community Foundation. Went to starting the Cathyann Roding Scholarship Fund through the Brantford Community Foundation. And every year since you've retired, we've given a scholarship, and in perpetuity, we will be doing that.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I'm so honored by all of that. I'm so grateful you got that started, and I feel thrilled. I get to meet the kids. So far, they've all known me, but eventually they'll be like, who is this lady?
We'll make sure they know.
But it's so much fun to get to greet them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a fun night. And then we ended with everyone on stage doing You Light the Way.
Yes.
And you spoke to the audience and to us. And I think there's a video somewhere. Just search YouTube, maybe. I got to revisit that, because we do so many special things in our life. Like, I have to tell you, I've directed 8 Brantford High School musicals. I don't think I've
8 now.
8.
Oh
I don't think I have watched any of them. I mean,
once
I put something to bed, I sort of just want that memory.
I'm the same way.
It's never going to be as good as it was live.
I'm the same way.
So it's funny, but like sometimes, I might want to have a drink and watch that. I got to find that video. If anyone has it, send it to me.
Yes.
So Post-retirement, you have had a life, Lord, more of a life after retirement.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's so many trials and tribulations,
Yeah.
starting with a back issue and then breast cancer. Can you fill in the audience about
Sure.
that time and what everything you've been through?
Sure. I mean, what an awkward question when people will say to me, "So how's retirement?" And I had all these things. Yes, I ended up with major back surgery, and I recovered fully. Everything was great, only to then be diagnosed with breast cancer. And just a quick public announcement, definitely check yourself. I found my cancer. I had a clear mammogram and a clear ultrasound in December 2019, and in June I found, thanks to an Under Armour workout bra which didn't fit right, I found this breast cancer, and it ended up being stage 3 after just 6 months. So definitely pay attention to your body. But wow, did that throw me for a loop. Never expected it. Although I'm grateful I have such a support, of course, my husband and my daughter, but my group of alumni and their parents carried me through that. I feel like I got determined. I was going to be a warrior.
That's where that
You
came
were
up.
the one that said to me, there's 3 R's in warrior, and that started it in my first tattoo and all that. I was just determined, and it never occurred to me that I could die. I mean, all my friends were looking at me like, this is really serious, but, you know, and let me tell you, treatments are no fun, surgeries are no fun. It was a pandemic. Nobody could come to anything with me, which was very lonely, I have to say.
I bet. Oh my God.
But in the end, I got through it. And then everybody says you're so lucky and you should be grateful, and you are. But the fact is, just another public service announcement, survivorship is really hard. I've gotten hit with more issues after the treatments than I really felt during the treatments. So
Wow.
it's something everybody should be sensitive to, people that have gone through it. And you don't need to tell them they should be grateful and they're lucky they're alive. They know that.
Yeah.
You know, just listen to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the back thing too, what that was debilitating. That was before the breast cancer, right?
Oh, yes.
So can you say a
yeah.
little bit about that?
I
mean,
I don't even know how that really happened. I didn't have an accident. I remember I was playing for your first summer production, Hairspray,
Right.
at the time. 1 week I was fine. All of a sudden I needed a cane. They thought it was hip bursitis, and it ended up being my back. I have no idea. But that took a year to seriously diagnose, and then the major surgery. But again,
and it seems like that as soon as you had the major surgery, it was like, yay, she got through that, and
Yes.
right after
Yes.
that, it was
Yes.
like no
punch in the
time.
gut. A punch in the gut.
And
I
like, we're
know.
like, this lady can't get a break.
No.
she just retired. Come on, she
I
dealt
know.
with all of us for 32 years.
I know. And the people say don't retire because these things happen. But I don't know. I look at it as if, well, thank God, because I was able to focus on my health and get better. But it it was really very difficult. Very difficult. I have one quick funny story.
Yeah, please.
Okay, from my first chemo, which I had to have chemo first because the tumor was so big they couldn't operate at the beginning. And that was the only time my daughter was allowed to come with me because of the pandemic. But they need somebody in the family to understand what's going to go on. So it turns out my oncology nurse was one of my alumni, Erica Nicolosi, which was the greatest thing in the world. And anyway, she explained the whole thing. I had, for those that have had cancer, no, I had the red devil, which is the worst chemo you can have and all that. So I get through that first treatment, 5-6 hours of infusion, whatever. We get home, and my daughter goes right to, our dog Jackson was so excited to see us. He's jumping up and down. He jumps onto the bed. Ashley goes down to kiss him. He hits her right in the head. Now, it turns out she got a concussion from that moment. But here
dramatic,
I am.
Ashley.
Here I am. I walked in with my stuff from chemo. That happens. She's crying because she's really in pain. My husband, Drake, is in a panic over, did the dog get hurt? And this whole thing is ensuing. And I'm standing there saying, guys, I'm the one that just had the chemo. I had to drive her to the doctor.
Oh, my gosh.
She really got a concussion. Like, no kidding.
Wow.
I mean, it was like, okay, well, this is the way it's going to go.
Oh, my gosh. But like Ashley says,
yes,
go big or go home is your motto. So I see this blanket thing you have. I read on Facebook about Closer to Free. Can you explain about that?
Absolutely. I've always wanted to give back, always. And during my career, as you know, we all used to go to any place that would have us to try and make people feel happy, hospice, all those kind of things. And so then I got into doing pet therapy. Jackson and I go to hospitals and places and, you know, trying to give back. And I love going to Smilo because that's where I was treated. So while I've been at the hospital a lot, this event called Closer to Free got on my radar. And I guess they've been doing it. This was the 15th year. But it's basically not a race. It's a ride. And there are different amounts. And you try and raise money. And 100% of the funds goes to Smilo Cancer Hospital. And so I decided I'm going to do that. Now, I don't have a bicycle. I haven't ridden in years.
They say it's like riding a bike.
Yes, exactly. Let me tell you.
So, yeah, I
so
remember.
I called you.
And listen, I had a few drinks. She called me, and I was like, well, you tell the story.
He said, Kath, that's fantastic. I'm going to buy you a bike.
She's like, no.
Yes.
I'm like, I want to you've done so much for me. Let me do this. As I'm pouring a vodka soda.
Yeah, of course. Thank God he did that, because that actually is what got me going. And we had to get to a second bike before it actually worked out. But oh my gosh. And then the summer was working against me with the weather and all that kind of stuff. But I trained. I have lung issues. I have neuropathy in my hands. I have this thing called dysautonomia, which means my limbs are weak, all from the treatments. But I was determined, and I'm so proud of myself, and a lot of encouragement from people on Facebook. Tremendous amount.
You got a lot of donations.
And I raised $10,200 and something dollars.
That's incredible.
As a one-person first-year ride. But I decided that wasn't going to be enough.
Of course.
Of course.
That's what we do.
That's what
Go big or go home.
That's it. So I decided I wanted to honor people that are either survivors or victims. And I started asking people, send me the names of your loved ones or you, and I'm going to get a superhero cape designed, and we're going to put it on there. And never, ever did I expect over 130 names to come to me. And so I went to, there's a vice principal at the high schools, Stephanie Bird. She has a business called Wistfully Woven. She makes beautiful things. Yeah. I asked her, and she graciously donated. And so this is actually the cape I'm using to cover up all of my legs here. But each ribbon has a name on it. And it represents the color.
Oh, I see Dennis Sheehan, which happens to be my dad's name, but it's his dad. Because my dad spells it with two N's. But he died when my dad was 14 or 15 of lung cancer.
Yeah, I did not know. I knew the lung cancer. Yeah, and
I see a couple, Bill Van Wilgen. I see a bunch of names I
yes,
know.
Carol Martens,
Oh.
good friends here. And so the color denotes the kind of cancer they had. And it was very emotional tying these all on.
Oh, I'm sure.
I can't even tell you. There's one here, an alumni, I don't know where it is, Amanda DeJoya. And
yeah.
when she went through her cancer, and then she was trying to coach me through mine, she always used to say, shields up. And I put that on the other side of her ribbon. Anyway, I literally rode my 10 miles in the big hill with this cape on
Did
me.
you see anyone else wearing a cape?
Nobody had a cape. Nobody.
Wonder Woman. Warrior.
Wonder Woman.
I love that.
It
That's so
wasn't that great.
special.
People couldn't believe it. First, they thought it was decoration. Then, as people and word got out what it was, people were really touched. I even had people come up to me that now I've put their loved one's name on it, even though the ride's over, because it was just so special to them.
Do you think
So-
you'll do the ride again?
Oh, absolutely. Now, this year I rode with alumni Courtney Genovese, who was Desjardins.
Yeah.
She has had breast cancer, and she's a pediatric pharmacist at Yale, which my daughter got to work with. So we rode the 10 miles together. Now, next year, I promised Ed Dingus, who's from my first years, that I would ride the 25 with him.
Wow.
Yes. So I will be training. You will see me out.
Holy moly.
So I don't know if I'll use this cape or start a new one. I'm not sure. I probably will use this one. There's lots of places I can hook people on. But
yeah.
it's very special.
And I love it's
to
in the
me.
Wonder Woman colors.
Yes, exactly.
Steph Bird thought of it all.
Oh, yes.
This has been so much fun
Oh, my
getting to
God.
catch up. There's so many stories that we have
Oh,
that
my
we can't tell. Like the Karen's Corner one where I saved you.
Oh, yes, right.
There's some, and like how I started your email for
My
you
email.
in 1999.
That's right.
She didn't have an email, and I mean that's really when like AOL was starting to be big.
Oh, yeah.
So we got her a Yahoo email address.
Oh, yeah, and it was the song I wrote my first year, You Like the Way,
at yahoo.com.
So alumni
Do you
can
still
always
use it?
Remember it. Oh, yeah.
Email Cathyann.
Oh, yeah,
You like
You
the way
Like the
at
Way.
yahoo.com.
And you also started my Facebook.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. I said, listen, she told me that she was going to retire before people knew. And then I knew she announced it. And then I put on my Facebook something like, Cathyann wrote and you'll always light the way or something. Then a bunch of alumni thought something bad happened. They reached out and they were like, what happened? What happened? What happened? Then I made it clear. Cathyan's retiring after 32 years, and then they're very supportive. But yeah, that was crazy. I put it on Facebook and then started your Facebook, and I was getting all these requests, and I was like, as soon as she retired, I'm like, here's the password, figure it out. And now she's like a Facebook pro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you get to catch up and keep up with all your
love
friends,
it.
family, and alumni.
Absolutely. I don't do the politics on there.
Yeah.
I just do all the first days of school and the costumes, and I love it. I just want to say one thing. People always ask me, do I miss it, teaching? And of course, my favorite part of teaching, even though we had all those performances and stuff, was in the classroom. When we would get the chills, when we made a sound that was incredible. But I felt really fulfilled. That's the reason I retired. I felt like I'd done so much, and I wanted to pass it on. And the only reason I could retire in good mind was knowing I had alumni that were going to take over. So Mike Martone, you, and now we have Scott doing all of the producing. That made me feel good. So it's in good hands, people. Support them.
And you certainly are still keeping yourself very busy. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. And you come and support everything. I mean, the only reason why we're doing this is because we were so inspired and taught so well from you. So thank you. Thank you. I want to give you this moment to, do you have anything else you want to share with the audience the Chattin with Colin audience, the millions of viewers. Anything that you want to share? Anything?
Life can be difficult, and it's tough at my house. My dear husband, Drake, has muscular dystrophy, and that progresses, but we keep positive. My daughter is now a pharmacist and helps us with all kinds of things. When life is tough, the first card I got, as a matter of fact, when people found out I had breast cancer, was from Paula Grimm, and it had a quote in there saying, when life is hard, something like that, just keep going. In other words, don't stop. Don't stop in the bad place. Keep going. And that and this quote that's on this tattoo from Les Mis, one of my favorite musicals.
Me
as
too.
You know, even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. So that's my philosophy. And I love this town. And God, I adore my alumni. Everybody makes fun of me for that, but I do. So I'm grateful for everything you've done.
Thank you. I'm grateful for
thank
you.
you.
You brought up Les Mis, so I have to tell the story.
Oh, yeah.
So we did Les Mis in 2003, my senior year. I was Javert. Kevin Miller was Jean Valjean. I was pissed because I really wanted to be Jean Valjean, but I couldn't sing it. It's like an opera high tenor. No. And then that role was the role that really I was like, oh my God, I can act. Because I'm not very much like Javert.
No.
I am a little more bubbly and rainbows and unicorns. But I had so much fun doing that show. I was really remained in character backstage. I just, it was so different, but it's my favorite show. Favorite show. I think I saw it when I was 11 years old, but we were lucky because it was the first year that it was released for high school.
That's right.
And then it happened to be that in May of 2003, the original production was closing down on Broadway.
Right.
Now there's been 2 revivals since then.
Sure.
But they got in touch with all the high schools that did Les Mis that year and said, hey, we're doing an open casting call in New York. If you could get your top 5 or 6 kids there to audition, they may have the opportunity to join the Broadway cast for the closing night of Les Mis. Now, I think you sent 6 of us, and 2 people got a standby, and then I actually got it and found out that day, and it was crazy. I remember calling you. We went to Joe Allen, the restaurant, because
and I
knew.
also remember I was in the hospital with my father, was so ill, so I couldn't go to New York with you guys, but you guys were calling me to let me know. Yes.
Yeah, and I called you from Joe Allen and said, guess what? I got it. And you were so happy. Now, here's the thing. It's closing night of an original Broadway show, and it's Les Mis that has been on for 17 years or whatever it was. Might have even been more than that. I don't know. And they said, we don't really have tickets to the show, but what we could do is allow your parents or a guest to come. But guys, we can only have 1 ticket per performer. So I only got 1 ticket. So, of course, I was going to ask Cathyann Roding, my friend, teacher, mentor, the one that sent me on the audition. And my mom and I are still in therapy over that because she did not like it. But I did send her and you to the dress rehearsal the night before at Chelsea Studios.
Oh, yes.
And my dad's mad. Oh, she had to go twice?
Yes.
So Cathyann will be paying for all my therapy.
Well, that and the fact that you went to Branford High School. And
yeah.
So I'm.
And then I went to Wagner College, which is on a dump, and they said you can't go to any place on a dump. It's like I'm fulfilling my parents' dreams one day at a time.
Aren't we all?
Oh my God. And I didn't know the Under Armour story. I think we need to contact Under Armour. I think we need to tell them because
I think that's
a cool story for them to know. I didn't know that.
Yes.
So,
and as a matter of fact, I just wrote a chapter for a breast cancer book through an organization called Cher Charette. It's a Jewish organization on Long Island, and they asked certain ones of us to write a chapter, and they just got back to me saying, we really like your writing, and we'll keep it, we think it's going to be in the book. And the title is An Under Armour Bra Saved My Life.
Well, we should send that to them. I'm going to get a contact for you.
Okay.
Listen, Kath, this is amazing. I can't wait to see what the future holds for you, because you don't stop. You go big or go home.
That's it.
Thank you for being such a great friend, mentor, teacher, mother, warrior, and a true inspiration to all of your friends, family, and former students. And
thank you so much, really.
You're welcome.
Means so much. I love you.
Okay. Well, I love you too. Thanks for watching Chatting with Colin. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
You know him, you love him, you're gonna want more of him. Here he is now, it's Chatting with Colin.